Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Maverick here today with another episode of Mushoku Tensei. So, last episode we finally resolved the entire situation between Rudy and his father Paul and whatnot. I mean, they kind of worked things out and so on and so forth. I'm not going to go back into it. I've talked all I want to talk about it for the last two episodes. In any case, now we are back on the road and continuing with our main quest of escorting Iris back home, right? Iris back home and maybe also finding out what actually happened to her family and, the rest of the people that were within the city and whatnot, all their friends and family. And of course, after that, or I guess at the same time, trying to figure out what happened to them in the first place. But in any case, I guess this is the beginning of a new arc. Let's get right into it right now. Alright, let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. Speaking of new arc, we are now like about halfway in, right? Oh, starting with the opening first, eh? I mean, one thing I do give them props for is that during the opening, they continue on with the actual animation, right? Showing us a bit of context of what they're actually doing. I do like that kind of storytelling method. Doesn't have to be dialogue heavy or whatnot, but just allow us to see what they're doing. Alright. Alright. Okay. Yeah, what the hell is with this? And by the way, it seems that like this entire plan of Rudy's with giving the little figures and whatnot, it might just turn into something important later on. Oh. This happened last time as well, right? Although I guess this... Hmm. A major rice producer. Oh yeah, and speaking of which, so it turns out we didn't really do much within the other city, right? Even though it's like a holy city and whatnot. I was expecting to meet some saints and so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. Yeah, after so long. I think Roxy might be somewhere else entirely, though. Oh, and speaking of which. Yeah. Hmm? So I guess we're going to be looking at her story like in intervals, like maybe every few episodes or so. What did he look like then? Oh, is this the guy that? Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I said, you know, this is definitely one of those very frustrating situations where, because of some innate, mental blocks that she has, she'll never actually realize who Deaden is, Rudy's actual identity and whatnot until like very, very far later on, right? I mean, hopefully, this guy will convince her to, visit her parents, and then maybe we can actually get we can actually allow her to learn about the situation. Oh, speaking of which, isn't this it? Yep, this is it. Please tell me she's actually going to get some meaningful information this time. Why is she unable to use telepathy though? Man, how long has it been since we've been back here, actually? This is back in season 1, right? Or I guess technically part 1. No, wait. No. I lied. The end of part 1 was when we got into that entire situation in the first place, right? With the light and whatnot. So, it wasn't actually that long ago. Maybe like 4 episodes ago? But actually, how many episodes did part 1 consist of? Was it 10 or 12? I honestly can't remember right now. Oh, someone coming? I mean... Alright, please tell me she's gonna bump into someone. Although it must be insanely frustrating, isn't it? Right? Unable to communicate with your own people. Ooh. At least once every 20 years. Actually teaching her how to speak, eh? No, but they're heartbroken because they care for you, not because they don't. Not because they're ashamed of you. Alright. Go give her a hug. Come on. You know you want to. Yay! Wow. Touching reunions in back-to-back episodes, eh? No, but seriously though, I never really, went into this entire situation the last time we were here, but now knowing this, it's a wonder that, their vocal cords haven't entirely deteriorated already, right? There is a difference between, thinking thoughts in your head versus actually vocalizing them. Please tell her some information. Finally. Well, at the very least, right, she finally got some useful information. But actually, 2 years? I thought it was 1.5 years. Alright. The dad's the. Oh, actually, he gets it. Alright. But actually, has Roxy realized that dead end is those three? Ah, nice, nice. Ah, it's just so satisfying that now we can get all of this together. Blast away. Why don't you two just like get different rooms? Yeah. Okay, okay. So she's still off to do her own thing. Someday, somewhere. Although now they are on completely different continents, right? Separate journeys. Alright, alright. No, I can get this. I am quite interested to see what Roxy is doing as well. So, see you guys after this. Alrighty, so another fairly straightforward story, I guess you could say, but like I said at the very end there, I am glad that we get to see what Roxy is doing, and thankfully, thank God that at the very end here, Roxy finally realized who the dead ends were, that was actually Rudy, how Rudy's doing, and so on and so forth, right? Because it was definitely very, very frustrating when she kept on kind of crossing paths with Rudy, but not eventually meeting at the same time here. So, I mean, we got that done. That's definitely very satisfying. Although I'm sure that most people will probably concentrate more on the actual sort of parent-child relationship that we have here, right? And don't get me wrong, it is absolutely touching and whatnot. And I'm glad that she was finally able to resolve all this at the very end here. As well as learning the true situation of how her parents actually viewed her and treated her, right? It's like there's, I mean, I can't really talk about this in such a generous terms, right? Because there are, like, in this world, there are some parents who don't really care much for their children and whatnot. But I like to think that that is much more in the minority than whatnot. And parents do very very much care about their children, regardless of what kind of situation that their children has gone into, right? And I guess taking a real world parallel example of this would maybe be a children with disabilities or whatnot, right? Because I guess in their kind of context, Roxy would probably be considered as a child with disabilities within their village and whatnot, which is. And then again, right? Even so, it really depends on if you want to view people as maybe whether by nature they're good natured or maybe by nature they're bad natured. That kind of philosophical thing. Because I actually think that most people within the village would probably be willing to still befriend her and have a relationship with her once they get to know her, right? Except that I'm assuming that when she was growing up, she probably also grew up in a very sheltered way as well. And on one hand, maybe Roxy herself was, she's afraid of the situation, and that's totally to be expected as well. So she doesn't really go out much, doesn't really interact much. As we can clearly see here, she's the type to run away without actually giving the other parties a chance to interact. And then again, I'm not sure like how well within the village that the other people knew of Roxy's situation. Like in a certain sense, right? It would be on the parents' onus as well to sort of explain the situation to the others and try to ask the others to be more what can I say? To be more accommodating to Roxy in a sense, right? Like when Roxy is there, maybe making actual effort to communicate directly with their vocals instead of using telepathy and whatnot, stuff of that sort. But I don't really want to get into that entire situation. What we have is what we see here. At least everything is solved at the very end, and at least for anyways, Roxy has a wonderful life of her own right now. She doesn't really want to stay on a demon continent. She doesn't really want to stay in the village. She has her own things to do, right? And, she now knows that her parents still very, very much love her, and I think that is fine enough, right? And I guess getting into the nitty gritty of how they managed to still, what could have been, if you will. I think that's kind of a moot point at this point in time, because she's already left the village, right? We don't really need to go through that entire thing anymore. I mean, I'm sure that this is probably quite a common situation as well for many people as well, including me, visiting your parents after you grow up and go on and live your own life here. Moving outside of your parents' house and whatnot, right? And finding a place to live on your own, and especially in bigger countries or whatnot, or if your parents typically come from more rural areas or whatnot, I think it is quite common for you to move into the big cities or whatnot, either for education, either for work or whatnot. For me, I've already left my parents for like 14-15 years at this point. They are always, of course, asking me to visit and whatnot. And as you age on more and more, you definitely get this feeling that you want to visit them more and more, right? Although honestly, I feel like, especially in this day and age, right, with teleconferencing and video calls and whatnot, it's definitely a lot easier to stay in touch with your family and loved ones than it was in the past, where maybe you had to rely on mail or email or whatnot. Now, it's as simple as opening like one of your instant messaging platforms, whatever you use, like I don't know, like iMessage or Google Meet or Zoom or whatnot, and just sorry, not iMessage, I mean FaceTime, right? For the app we're using and whatnot, and just talk directly to your family. So it's kind of more of a not so grave a situation in this now and day and age. So then again, yeah, I mean, regardless of that though, I'm sure that parents would still, at least for me, my parents always ask me, hey, when are you coming back, when are you coming to visit, and so on and so forth. I mean, it's just something universal, all right? It's universal. Your parents want to see you, your parents want to know you're doing well, and especially more so when you're in a situation where you can't really easily visit or easily make contact with them, right? But yeah, I mean, it's definitely a wholesome episode, and I do kind of get the feeling that there was a significant purpose there in putting it directly after, the Rudy Paul situation here. Once again, we have another sort of parent-child situation there. I'm If we think about it, right, this has actually been going on through a lot of the episodes as well, right? This kind of parent-child relationship that we have here. It's happened in many episodes here, right? So you can definitely think of this as a central theme for this anime, or I guess for this series, or at least for this particular part of the series, right? And we can see it as a constant theme going on throughout these last few episodes, whether it's in regards to the main character or not, right? Family. The concept of family definitely seems to play a very, very integral role within this series. And, I think this is important because it also serves as sort of like the basis or foundation for any future arcs or story events as well, right? We can know that probably there's going to be more characters that we meet in the future that would also kind of go back to this sort of family situation as well, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be parent-child. It could also be between siblings, and the focal character could be the child, could be the parent, and so on and so forth, right? So I guess that is indeed something to look forward to, and perhaps something that we will explore later on as well, right? Like, for instance, Rudy, right? Maybe we will get a chance to know of his I mean, well, technically his family already, I know we already learned about his family situation, right? We learned about the spirits and whatnot, but could he have any surviving kin or something of that sort? Maybe, right? So we'll have to see in the future here. As for now, though, well, I guess the next time we see Roxy is gonna be the same as when her parents see her a long time into the future, right? At least or at least, definitely maybe like an arc later or something, especially since she's all the way on the other continent at this point. It'd be really interesting to see how exactly they cross paths once again, right? You definitely have to wait until maybe Roxy finishes her business, finishes her investigation on the Demon Continent and whatnot, before, all returning back to the Central Continent. And at that time, that would probably be when they find or have some information on the remaining missing members, right, of Rudy's family and whatnot. So, anyways, that's it for this one. Wholesome episode. And, I'm glad that we get some very satisfying conclusions at the very end here, both in regards to Roxy's family and as well as Roxy learning of Rudy's situation. So, thank you guys, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.